It's Monday, November 19th. It's 5:30 p.m. We're in the forum room of the Roger Peterson School. And we will have a roll call.
Valerie Howe. Here. Kathy Ingram. Here. Joyce Iverson. Here. John Linder.
Here.
Dean Merrill. John Pettit. Donnie Princeton. Here. Debbie Hay.
Okay, thank you. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. We have addendums to the, actually a couple of addendums to the agenda. Anything you want to add to that, Mr. Miller?
No, just clarifying that under consent agenda item, we have a number of additions, and I apologize that we didn't have those in the packet to start with, and as well as some clarity on old business additional items for the review of the middle school purchase agreement deadline.
Okay, with those additions, any other corrections or concerns on the agenda? Not to look for a motion to adopt. Motion by Clinton, is there a second? All those in favor of adoption of the agenda as modified? That's, I say aye. Opposed, no. Carries. Item 5 is the public comments. Is there anyone?
There are
none. Okay, moving on to the consent agenda. We have item A, donations in the amount of $1,140 in page 6. And November, item B, November 13th, 2018 special meeting minutes. C, November 5th, 2018 special meeting minutes. And D, October 15th, 2018 regular meeting minutes. E, October hand payables, wires, and payroll liabilities in the amount of $321,187.81. F, October payroll in the amount of $291,431.81. And November board bills in the amount of $209,269.89. And we have a couple personnel issues. H, resignation of Andy Kingsley, a paraprofessional, junior high softball coach, baseball supervisor. And then additional items, hire Colin Schroeder to be paid $750 to construct a set for the one-act play. 3, hire Heather Grigg, ECFE coordinator. 4, hire Caitlin Beaverdorf, ECFE paraprofessional. Item 5, hire Xavier Reiser, assistant wrestling coach. Do you have any comments? Okay, if not, we'll look for a motion to approve. Motion by Iverson. Second? Second by Quincy. Any further discussion? All those in favor of approving the items on the consent agenda, signify by saying aye. Opposed, no. Carries. Moving on to item 7, A of old business. There's been some additional information on the purchase of the middle school. Mr. Taylor, do you want to fill us in on this?
Sure. As a board, you've been patient with the gentleman that chose to extend an offer towards the purchase of the building. Initially, there was some misunderstanding about the title work and coming up with a purchase agreement. We learned this afternoon that there is a purchase agreement that is forthcoming. Unfortunately, it's not here this evening, but as a fate of a show of good faith bargaining. The individual has agreed to offer an addendum to the purchase agreement that would allow an additional time frame here, and at the same time afford the district to be compensated for your patience in this process. So, looking for approval by the board to, again, continue working with our attorney, Joe Langle, and the gentleman who's purchasing the building to work with his legal representative as well. So,
With that amount, why then purchase?
and be in addition to the purchase. It's an additional fee.
One thing we had also discussed, is he currently is willing to offer $1,000. Good faith.
Correct.
And that, I think I'd be more comfortable if he had some skin in the game here.
Okay.
That would be my suggestion. If he's willing to $1,000, he might just point out the real.
So then we want 1,000 plus 3,000.
Right, this is just earnest money. It'd be applied to the purchase price all the time, but it would be showing good faith on his part.
So in addition to the $100,
Correct.
Well, I think this $100, I think he's anticipating paying that 10 to 30 period. But $1,000 he would like to get immediately in the purchase agreement. That's your understanding?
That's my understanding. Our legal representative said that, the board is to be commended for your patience in this whole process, and apologizes for the misunderstandings that took place because of there was a misunderstanding on the title work, that it wasn't going to be necessary, it was just a quick claim deed. And unfortunately, that during that process, then, there were some things that came up on the title work in the court. Again, we said that wasn't necessary. And then again, the challenge for him is to secure his finances to move forward with the purchase. So, at this point, I would say to the board is that you got nothing to lose at this point. You've been patient enough, and I would commend you to continue your patience and see what is forthcoming with this as well.
I'd like to emphasize that this is probably the end of the line. I mean, if you can't do this in 30 days, we really need to move on and take a look at other options.
So the understanding is that the 30 days would be December 20th, and then we would rescind any further negotiations with the individual, and then move forward with re-advertising the parcel after the first of the year.
Okay, do we have any questions? Any more questions on that issue?
Are you willing to make the motion as it's written here, but with the addition of the $1,000 that John talked about, and then also with the stipulation that December 20th is the last day, or that's the end of the day?
Motion by Benson, second by Iverson. Any further discussion? All those in favor of item 7, old business as we discussed, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? No? Motion carries. Okay, moving on to new business. Item A, approve the 2017-18 World's Best Workforce Summary. Shepherd, do you have some information?
Yes, so every year in the fall, we set new goals for our world's best workforce in the 5 different areas. And last year when we filled out our report, we had passed 4 of the 5. So every year then you try up ante a little bit, increase the goal. So this year now, our goals were not met. If you look, we didn't meet any of our goals. But if you go through the goals, all students ready for school, almost 75% were. And in the wording of this, as we updated for this current school year, we tweaked some of the wording of it, what does it really look like, and using our fast bridge, and are we just wanting to be the alphabet, or are we wanting to be other areas to be proficient in being ready for kindergarten, looking at the preschool rather than specifically at the kindergarten. And the third grade, grade achieving grade level literacy, you're at 80%, and our goal we up to 90%. Again, for the next one, achievement gap, there we even, our data that we want to use last year, we couldn't use this year because it's no longer there. So that was kind of an interesting one to fill out. The next one is college and career ready, and Jake has more information about the last two on the graduation rate and that too. But being such a small school, it's hard to get 100% because one student is, you know, it's not, it's a great goal to have everybody, but once they leave our district, they still are counted as ours. Some of the feedback we do get from MDE, they look at where we are. Underneath each of the results, you'll see that there's a little bit of a say-ish, telling what we're working on, how we're going to improve on our goals, and those are in each of them. You can look at that through our supports, third grade, there's different supports, research-based intervention through the ADSYS program and our title program, our extended day, which they are currently now until MCA time. Mrs. Marquez is working on that. The achievement gap, again, it shows the high school, middle school, and the elementary, everything we offer. Our goals are very high. We look at a lot of different school districts, and we do want our students to do really well and reach for high goals, but these are, they are pretty good goals for any district, but they're much higher than many that I've looked at. Oh, okay. So and Jake has a little bit more in his too. Like I said, this is required, like you probably saw in the front, between October 15th and December 15th, and we got this emailed to the department. It shows where we can see it on our RP site, and it has to be given to you and any community members that would be in attendance today. Our page 3 is everyone who is part of our World's Best Workforce, which includes teachers and community members and employees for the school board and wide range of people involved with this and working on reaching these goals and setting the goals, and it's just a lot involved. And then getting the feedback from the department is also nice, so we know where they would suggest we could help on these things. Part B we do not fill out because we're not part of that program. So,
have you guys tried Odyssey?
yes, we do have Odyssey.
That's for the high school or?
They're
Our middle school and high school use Odyssey for credit recovery. And then also the school within a school that we passed last year, we use that in there as well.
Okay.
And our special education uses Odyssey too, middle school, high school sometimes.
It's actually not something that needs to be approved, you know, I do see that's here, it's just something that has to be given to you and discussed. And we want to.
How long have you been using this Fast Bridge?
Past this is our third year, and that's through HUD as well. It's the program I switched. Yeah.
Do you think it's working or?
This is just, the Fast Bridge is just a testing, thing. It doesn't educate, it doesn't anything like that. It just tests and to see where students are. Like next Tuesday is our data review. Next Monday is our data review day, and so the students went through this earlier this year. Now the students who are in the programs, title and intervention, they get tested weekly through the Fast Bridge. Then they come together each grade level and they talk if there's any new students who are of concern, and they talk about the students that are currently in the programs And through FastBridge, they use that documentation along with the teachers, any parents that are having further concern. Because ideally, you want students out of title, out of intervention. If there are titles that need a little bit more, they may move over to the intervention program. But class sizes are to be relatively small. ADSYS intervention program is 6 max per grade. So, but yes, we having something like this, it was aimed before this, and we did have some struggles with FastBridge, just with the system of it, not necessarily the program, so.
Does this 1 minute timing really help?
The 1 minute is a read.
Yeah, I know there's for math too, they have, don't they?
It's not 1 minute for that though, it's like a 7-minute testing for that.
Oh, okay. With how many problems? Yeah.
A lot, yeah. Yeah, but that, as far as the math part goes, it's, like in the Ames test and this test, they kind of think the Ames test was a little better quality of information, change things up instead of being, here's all your addition, here's all your subtraction for elementary now, here's, like that. They mixed them up, so you had to not just think, okay, I'm just addition, they made you think and change the pace of it, but we have enough data now for everything that it gives parents a nice little show of how things are going. It's like at conferences, the fall, the winter, the spring, the benchmark testing for my daughter, whoever. It just gave the parents a nice documentation of where they are, where they should be going, and good charts for that. And the teachers are good to talk to the parents about that. And then we also have nights where Mrs. Markowitz and Mrs. Copperu were available for parents to come in. Now when we have a book fair, I think they do that one more time yet in the spring now, closer to the end of the year. But there again, goals for any of those programs is to get kids out. And especially the ADSYS program is your goal. And title and intervention, our ADSYS intervention, is to keep kids out of special ed. Enough help, enough support keeps kids out of special ed. And it's proven over the state every time I attend one of the meetings in that, every fall, every spring, they say it's proving that it is working. It's enough support for some of these kids to help keep them out. Is a good goal.
I have a question. It's never fun to probably write a report where you didn't meet goals, or to read a report where goals weren't met. So my question is, did the committee set their own goals for this year? And if so, were they maybe a little high, going from the year before up to, like 100%? Some of them, or I'm just looking for, how the goals weren't met, what were some of the...
Well, that was, yes, our goals were, because we met 4 out of 5, we just, increased them a little bit, or a little bit.
And did you decide how much you were going to increase them, or was that given to you as...
We just talked to the group. It was our committee. Yep.
Well, it's
And
nice
if you look
high
at,
goals.
excuse me?
It's nice to have high goals.
Yes.
Um,
And there's nothing,
So a lot of them are different kids, different ages. Like if you look at the 3rd grade, it's a completely different group of 3rd graders coming in. It's a completely different group of juniors taking the ACT, completely different seniors graduating. So it's always hard to compare one to another, and that's where we strive. I mean, on the ACT, and we'll kind of talk later, like the state average is 21.3, and our goal is 70% of RP kids to score above the state average. So it's a pretty lofty goal, and we were at like 62%, I think, or 64% last year. So it's one of those goals that are always hard to tell where we're at, but that's where we don't want to, I think at the meetings we've talked, we don't want all of a sudden say, well, if we're at 64.6, let's put the goal at 65 so it looks really good on paper when we meet with you guys or to the state that, hey, we met all our goals. That's kind of, a goal is just as good as what you write down on paper, and we want to put it up there so it gives ourselves something to strive for.
it's not something that the MDE is trying to get after schools. I mean, we're doing, we're not in the part B of this where they're after us to try to, so just keep moving forward and keep everybody, we have different, the reading curriculum now for the 1 through 5. We're hoping that is something that will help too. And just working together, we have a literacy team meeting every month now, which is a good thing to do. And the Read Well by third grade report is part of the literacy team meeting, is part of that. So that's up and running and moving forward and on positives.
Okay, the goals for next year, are you keeping the same as this year, or are you going to lower them a little bit?
I think we kept them pretty much the same, in my opinion.
Yep, we looked at where, so you have the actual, you have our goals and then our actual data from last year. We used the actual data and then made the goals from that. And I think in terms of the couple that I can think off the top of my head, the ACT, when we stayed with that 21 number, and I think we might have stayed right at 70%, we were close. For the graduation rate, I think we went with 98%, because again, our strategic plan has 98 to 100% would be at the far right of our strategic plan, and that's where we want to be. So instead of using that 100 number, we use 98. The third grade, we kind of stayed. We kind of tried to look at, we kind of like Ange and I were talking, we looked kind of at our strategic plan, and that's on our website, where there's like 4 categories to it. We broke it down, and it was like basic, emerging, proficient. I can't remember the 4 areas, and you kind of just that rubric on it. And we kind of try to tweak our goals this next year to, on the far right, whatever that was, trying to get into that range with them. So it might be, it still was up and down, but we still always have that goal. So we continually, this World's Best Workforce is part of our strategic plan. So we continue to go back to the strategic plan to the World's Best Workforce, so they kind of do that. Is what the state, the goal, that was the goal of the state, creating all these things so they can do this and they can't local control, instead of the state saying this is what you have to do.
So at the same time, as they've indicated to you, we're trying to set realistic goals, but at the same time lofty goals, and it is a direct correlation to the strategic plan. So whatever's in the strategic plan rolls out and is reflected in the World's Best Workforce Plan as well. So those two work hand in hand, as they indicated to you this evening. So very, very pleased with the feedback we're getting from our community members as well as our staff members as to a direction that we want to continue moving and progressing forward in a positive direction in all of those facets that we have outlined in the World's Best Workforce.
I have one more quick question, and bear with me because I am not a numbers person, but you mentioned the ACT and the goal, we didn't meet the goal of 70%, getting to 21. But then I think, like later on in your report, you said our aggregate score, our composite score was 22, something. Can those both be true? That would indicate the...
And the math brain in me, so the goal is, let's say we had 100 kids take the ACT. Our goal is that 70 out of 100 will score 21 or above.
Okay.
The aggregate score for the report that we get from the state and from ACT is the average score. So if we had one person, if we had a bunch of kids score in the 30s, that helps bring our average up.
Okay.
So it's kind of, that one's just that big picture that we get across the board. We take our 30s, our 15s, everything in between, add them all up, get your average, and that's what we have there. Where this one for ours is we didn't want that average because for our strategic plan, we want to say, we have kids that score 30, yeah, that's great, and our average looks good, but we don't want to leave these kids down here that are scoring 60 and 70. We want to push all of them. We want to get, eventually we want to get 70, 80. We want all of our kids to be at above the state average.
That makes sense. So your push is more, bringing more of the kids up to the 21 rather than...
Then we say our
Because of
average.
the outliers on the top.
Yeah, we'll take both. I mean, I'm pretty proud when I can sit there and say that for the area, we're the 4th highest in the area. I mean, yeah, so we'll do both.
Thank you.
Any further questions for Ms. Shepherd? We need a motion to approve the summary.
I don't think
You don't think so?
you do, Laura?
No.
My understanding is,
Yeah, it's not required by the state, it's just a more or less information for you as a board.
Okay. That's good. Moving on then to item B, approve the 18-19 seniority list.
And it's on page 33 through 35 in the award packet, say through 36, excuse me. And each year it's just an annual thing that we do. We send it out to our teachers, making sure that the information is correct. And again, we followed that procedure again this year. And so as a board, you formally approve the seniority list as is in front of you this evening.
I'll make the motion.
Motion by Hall, is there a second? Second by Ingram. Any questions or comments on the seniority list? If not, all those in favor, approving the seniority list, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Carries. Item C of new business, approve the transfer from the general fund to the community service fund. There's additional information.
And Tony and I and Laura worked on this information for you this afternoon, and so just to remind the board that we have a revision to the budget, and when we put the budget together for 17-18, we informed the board at that time that because of the third section of the early childhood program that we were going to incur some additional costs. And so those costs are listed down below, which amount to about $51,672. So we're requesting a transfer to cover the cost of that third teacher in the early childhood program.
Do you have any questions on that? For a motion to approve the transfer to the community service fund? Second?
Second by Hal.
By Hall. All those in favor of approving the transfer from the general fund to the community service fund, indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carried. Moving on to the item D of new business, moving the start time of the December 17th regular meeting from 5:30 to 5 to accommodate the presentation of the 17-18 audit report and the truth and taxation meeting that will begin promptly at 6:15. Anybody have any questions about that? For a motion to approve.
I'll make the motion.
By Howell, second.
Personal second.
All those in favor of moving up the starting time for the December 17th regular meeting from 5:30 to 5, indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. That carries. Item E, set the organizational meeting date and time to January 7th, 2019 at 5:30 p.m. right here. That is our annual meeting to select committees and officers. So we would need to do that before we have our regular meeting in January. Do you have any questions about that? I'll look for a motion on that as well. Iverson, for second.
Second by Hal.
All in favor of the setting January 7th, 2019, 5:30, that's the organizational meeting date, indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Carries. Item F, new business review the dental insurance provider comparison and select provider. Page 37, we have some information.
Yes, we put together some cost comparisons. This time of year, we always get review on our dental insurance, our providers and comparisons, and the document on page 37 shows you a breakdown of comparisons of Health Partners is our current provider, and then we also have MetLife that we have chosen to be our replacement, and you can look at the cost comparisons there. We met with a small group of representatives from RPA and EPS and got their input on this as well, and we need to roll it out to the membership, both from RPA and EPS, and so, or ESP, excuse me, and so they will have to approve that as well. But What we're asking for the board is your permission to continue moving forward with securing the support from both of the unions to support this change in their dental provider.
Which one are they recommending?
MetLife. Yep. And we will present, like I said, we will present this on Monday, January 26th to all of our employees so that they have a chance to see that, and then they're required to vote on it, and we have to give them 3 days. And then, obviously, with the holiday season in there, it's always a challenge to get everything up and running and in place by January 1, 2019. So time is of the essence for us.
It looks like it makes sense to me. I'm willing to make a motion
Okay.
to support your efforts.
Motion by Quincy, second. Any further discussion? All those in favor of the proposal of the dental provider, signify by saying aye. Opposed, no. Motion carries. Moving on to item G, new business, superintendent's report, Mr. Daly.
Yes, page 38 of your packet. Just a note of personal thanks to Kathy Ingram here, who's going to be fulfilling her obligation this evening as our interim board member. Chris Finland will be seated here for the December 17th board meeting. So Kathy, thank you for, again, bringing your expertise and your willingness to step in and fill that void for us as well. To Director Muro and Director Pettit, a special note of thanks to them for their 4 years of service as school board members. They will be fulfilling their obligation at the December 17th board meeting. And then this evening, you, under your consent agenda items, you approved the resignation of Danny Kingsley. I want to just take this moment and opportunity to extend my thanks and appreciation to her for her years of service. She's done an excellent job for us. We're sorry to see her go, but at the same time, we wish her the very best with her new position. So my thanks to Danny Kingsley for her services. A number of notes of congratulations. I'll let you read through those on your own as far as the play that was put on, the musical, Willy Wonka, to our academic letter winners, to our fall coaches and teams and state participants. A note of congratulations to our bowling team that is being sponsored by Nordic Lanes. They were successful in winning the conference tournament, and they went in as the number 4 seed and came out as winners of that, and so have the opportunity to move forward with that as well. So a pleasant surprise. And then there's some dated materials here all the way back into October 18th and 19th. The Prairie Fire Theater production put on Tom Sawyer. We had a number of students involved in that. Our thanks and appreciation to Rasta for sponsoring that and allowing us to host that here. The craft fair was here on October 19th, and again, the Rushford Women's Group did a great job with that, and special note to them for their service to our community. That October 19th marked the final hosting of the craft fair by the Rushford Women's Group. So, a note of condolences and sympathies. Lacey Drinkall's grandmother, Mary Ann Oberlin, passed away, and Ruth Knudsen, who works in the kitchen, her husband Stanley passed away, and visitation and services are taking place this evening. So, again, our condolences and sympathies to those families for their loss. Early childhood screening, that took place here at our school. This is the first year that we hosted the activity at our school. In the past, we've always had it at Rushford Lutheran Church, but this year we decided not to host school on that day and to utilize our facilities to do the early childhood screening, and everything went extremely well. So we're very appreciative of the opportunity to have the families in here to see the new classroom setups and give them first-hand view of the new setting that their children would be experiencing. The model legislation experience, each year we're involved in that, or at least we have been the last 4 years. Mr. Millsno makes that a part of his history class for his seniors, and this year through the assistance of his student teacher, Ms. Keinwald. She is a Winona student, a Winona State University student. She's familiar with the program and was able to lend her expertise. But our students were there last Wednesday and Thursday and did an excellent job understanding how state government works. And special note of thanks to Gene Pulowski, our representative here for part of our school district. Gene has been instrumental in making that an integral part, and so he does an excellent job of that. A note of thanks to John Paulson and Big Man Sound. He and his musicians were here. John came on Friday, November 9th, and worked with our students, and then on Sunday the 11th they came back again and worked with our students prior to them putting on a concert in the afternoon, and I must say that their sound was excellent, and I commend our students for embracing that. American Education Week took place last week, as well as we celebrated Veterans Day on Monday, November 12th. That's because it fell on Sunday, and so we decided to go ahead and do that on Monday. And you can see my thanks there. Special note of thanks to our students for their music that they provided, and special thanks to Abby Malone, our girls stater, and Vanessa Anderson did an excellent job of reading a poem. And then our guest speaker was Andrew Peters. And a special note of thanks to the color guard for being on hand to make this a very respectful day and paying tribute to our veterans. And then the last thing there, we purchased a pickup as at the last board meeting. You authorized me to go ahead and not to exceed $15,000, so we were able to secure that for $14,300, and so we're happy to say we're up and running and ready for any future snowfalls that come our way. And then a note of information for the board. We received confirmation today that we are one of the recipients of the Arlen Falk Grant. We wrote a grant for $9,775 to assist us with some enhancements to our robotics program. So my thanks to Mr. Mulholland, to Mr. Madsen, Mr. Tim, and Mrs. Michael. All of those people had a hand in writing the grant and were very instrumental in us being successful in securing that grant. So my thanks to them. And then a note of give thanks with the Thanksgiving holiday this week. Just a note of thanks and appreciation for the things that we've been blessed with here in our school district, and it's pretty phenomenal when you stop to think about the things that we have going forward for us as a school district. So we're deeply grateful and thankful for the opportunities that we've been afforded. So that's my report.
Any questions for Ms. Wheeler? Ms. Wheeler, community ed report was last.
She is, she's out in the lobby there working with, so I'm just going to highlight some things for you. The youth enrichment, again, continues to be a strong program for us, all the way from youth dance to gingerbread making class. So that's coming up with the holidays here. Youth recreation, the non-traveling basketball begins on November 26th, and then she's doing the MAT club sign up this evening. We have scheduled a 55-plus driving class, is scheduled for here on Monday, December 11th. So if you're interested, you know, this does cost savings for those of you that take a part in that class. And then adult recreation, a number of programs that she has going forward. Kids Club highlights, she continues to have a number of good numbers that signed up for that, and things continue to go very well for that. And her little preschool program, again, the enrollment is staying steady at 75, and they are looking forward to celebrating Thanksgiving, and of course Christmas right after the Thanksgiving holiday. And she mentioned the early childhood screening, as I did. She extends thanks to all of those who helped with the screening. Those people are listed here in the program tonight. And then the early childhood and family education, she will conclude the fall session on December 7th. And you move forward tonight with the hiring of Heather Craig as the ECFE coordinator. So she thanks you for recognizing and helping her fill that position as well.
Okay, any questions from the community report? Moving on to the elementary report.
So, November 2nd, we celebrated Red Ribbon Week by having a lot of great high school kids come into our 4th and 5th grade classrooms with the idea of follow your dreams, don't do drugs. And I attended all 3 of the classes a little bit at a time and then went to the next. And their message was just so wonderful. They're up there saying what they like to do rather than getting, doing drugs and things, make healthy choices and positive things. And they all signed a poster at the end. And it was good to see the kids excited, both the 4th and 5th graders as well as the high school students who came down and took time out of their day to, it wasn't a real lot of time, but 20 minutes. It was a really great message for our students. So they're all listed in here, as you can see. One thing I asked my elementary staff to do was give me updates for their grade levels, things they wanted to highlight. And I'd asked for K through 5, and then I got an email from Mrs. Brown. She was, he's important too. And I said, I am sorry, you're absolutely right. And she's so excited about her physical education classes, and so she shared as well. The stack of the cones was fun to see. I saw a lot of those, and she just does a lot of creative new ideas each year. Right now they're doing archery, which is a favorite for the elementary students, but the teachers did their thing. I know the Good Shepherd is welcoming the 4th grade students back. At some group, one of the classes goes every Wednesday. It's just a nice opportunity for everyone, and they come back and they have adopted grandparents, and the kids are excited. But I know the people at Good Shepherd are too. The people who stay there, and So band is doing their get together very shortly. I saw Mr. George before, and he said we're excited to get some instruments in their hands and start playing. I was a part of letting this. Several weeks it took for during band time, the kids got to try out the instruments. And so that was kind of fun. They came back, and if they were on the trumpet or, the trombone, they came back. My lips are tingling because they're trying to make noise out of it. But they had a lot of fun with that, and they were hoping they'd bring all the instruments back in and they could start playing whatever they wanted. So, like Mr. Ayler said, the Veterans Day program here in K5, if you were there, was just awesome. They were so excited. The whole side was just sounded wonderful. So leading into that is our Christmas concert coming up on the 13th. We will all be in the big gym, and the 3 music teachers will be there and putting on a good show for everyone. They had lots of good ideas this year, and I'm excited to hear it again because I know it'll be awesome. Our Trojan Pride into the Tri-Assembly is the 29th, next Thursday. And Mrs. Brown usually sets up little activities. We break, we don't really call it volunteers. The teachers give us a variety. So we have 3 of them, obviously, this trimester. And so you get a lot of different students getting to participate in the activities, and everyone's cheering. It's an exciting time. It's about 40 minutes. We'll start around 2:15 and have some time and have some prizes for students. And it's a nice addition, ending of a trimester. So lots of exciting things happening in the next couple of months.
Any questions for Jeff? Thank you. Mr. Tim?
Right, thank you. You see there we had the academic letter assembly on November 7th, and Mr. Ayler mentioned it. Just the stats there last year between our 9th to 11th graders that were recognized, and then last year's seniors, 26.2, so 49 total students that received a 3.67 for the entire year last year. ACT scores there, as we kind of talked about a little bit, so our composite score, so our average of all of our graduating seniors that took the ACT was 22.3. The state average is 21.3, and the national average is 20.8. So we didn't meet our goal there of getting the number of kids over 21 individually as a whole, a collective whole, a very good average for us. The top one there shows the 4 areas, English, math, reading, science, us compared to the state. And then the college readiness shows the percentage of our kids compared to the state. And then below it kind of gives you what college readiness means. And it says if they score those on the algebra, social science, biology, English, certain or above, they have a 50% chance of getting a B or higher, or a 75% chance of getting a C or higher in a college course. So compositely, 40% of our students, when they took the test as juniors there, before last year's graduating seniors, 40% had a chance to get a B or a C in their classes. So we've got, according to the state, we're above the state in all those areas, we're having our kids prepared for college as well. Junior high knowledge pool has started. Our team has done very well. I think they won their first competition. Our freshman group did. Continuing to do well. We had our band and choir there listed, our Three Rivers Honor Band and choir. Next year we get to host that here, so Mr. George and Mr. Mulkey were taking notes, they said, on how to do it here, and make sure we'll have next year in November, we'll have that honor band here. Willy Wonka was mentioned. November 14th, the Team Up workshop, so with a group of freshmen there, just a leadership workshop. Craig Hilliard's name gave a message on just leadership, being chemical-free. Got to meet a lot of different kids from area schools, all of them in our kind of our Section 1A, Region 1A here in southeastern Minnesota. So it's a great day for those kids to show off leadership skills. Mentioned the band that Mr. Ayler did, and then the athletics as well. And just to touch on the grants too, like Mr. Ayler said, for the Arlen Falk grant for robotics, the big thing that we're purchasing there is 3D printer. So it's for our robotics program, but also last year we've worked on Mrs. Nelson up in the library. We have these spiral balls that we can program on iPads. We also bought some drones last year that we can program. We have a green screen up there kids can use. And now we'll have 3D printers on top of it, so just a way for our kids to kind of get their hands on that STEM stuff. And then Mr. King is going to teach a class, Introduction to CAD/prototype engineering, using his background as an engineer, starting second trimester, where kids are going to learn how to CAD and computer aid on computers, to draft on the computer, and then they'll be able to hook that up and then print from it. So the 3D printers will be part of that class as well. So that grant came in there. And in addition to that grant, Mr. Mahalan wrote a grant as part of the robotics program that they're in. There's a NASA grant, and he wrote a grant that and got $6,000 to that. So that kind of helped get our robotics program up and off the ground and running. And they met today for our second time today with some kids. So we've got some kids very excited about robotics and learning more and more about that and the craziness and chaos that goes on to it and the competitive nature. And as Mr. Bieberdorf and I talked, it used to be like you used to have set parameters of you could only build during these time frames, this window, and it made it real interesting, where now they've opened it up. And some schools are kind of angry because now you get more time, and it's going to be a unique thing for our kids here. So it starts about mid-January, and they said what happens, there's a big reveal day. So on this day in January, they're going to drive down Alaska, because that's the closest one, and they get their box of parts and kits and all that stuff, and it's like, and there's a story with it, and it's what your robot has to do, and sometimes the competition's like stacking stuff, sometimes it's beating up the other robot. Like there's all these different things that go with it. So this day is like their Super Bowl almost on the first end of here's what it is, it's your birthday, it's a present, now go. And then they get to build like crazy until April or May. So an exciting program for some of our kids and looking at the kids up there, some kids that just weren't involved in other stuff. So we got a group of 10 to 20 kids that it's going to be an exciting thing for them. And just thank Mr. Mahalan, thank Mr. Ayler, Mr. Madsen for writing those grants and helping out to help get that program off the ground for some of our non-traditional students in those areas is an extracurricular activity as well.
You have to have them demonstrate at a board meeting.
We will, yeah. Once they get it done, I'll have them bring it in and go, so. But no, good stuff there. And then just one more thing too, I had, as we were talking, Matt had, President of Minnesota State Southeast came in today just to meet with me and just talk about how, the continued partnership and just another person that as he was walking through here was just blown away with the building and what we can do in here and just the amazing partnership that we have for a small school. So it's when we talk the goals and some of the stuff we're striving, we've got good things going on for our students here, and very proud to say that I think, we have 8 to 10, not the exact sure numbers of concurrent enrollment classes where kids get high school and college credit for sure. And that's more than anyone in the area. I think we have more than Winona does, and some of the bigger schools, we even have more. So just a phenomenal thing that our kids have here with some of these. And just thank you guys as a board with approving robotics, approving track, approving business, approving, all these things that we're building. And then the levy that passed, or the referendum that passed, helps continue to do these things. And sometimes it's not a lot of kids that get it, but the fortunate stuff we're able to do here for our kids is amazing. So thank you guys.
I just want to follow up with what Mr. Tim shared with you this evening on the ACT scores. The Rochester Post-Bulletin did a comparison of all area schools, and Westford Peterson was one of the top 4 schools in the area as far as their ATC scores. So
I think we came in behind Rochester Century, Rochester John Marshall, Byron, and then we were number 4.
So we're tied with Houston for
Yep,
the
tied
third
with
place.
for 4.
So a good representation by our students, and my thanks to Mrs. Elgamo, who works with our students, and also a special note of thanks to our teachers who do the preparatory work here of making sure that our students are learning the necessary things they need to learn. So it's confirmation on another front of just the things that we have going forward for us, and that our students are able to compete and perform at a high level here in the state of Minnesota. So,
Okay, yeah, any questions for Mr. Tim? Thank you. Mr. Beaverdorf, activities report.
Yes. Winter activities are all fully going with the exception of one act play. We've got in the building tonight 16 different teams practicing, if you count the 5 level of boys basketball, 5 level of girls, 4 different dance teams, as well as the 2 levels of wrestling. It's a lot of juggling of space, and now we can hear a little bit quieter, but for example, our dance team was in the room behind us in the dance studio getting stretched out. Now they're in the elementary gym. The boys start out in the elementary gym, the girls start out lower. The wrestlers are in the wrestling room, of course, and then they kind of all rotate. Just want to compliment our coaching staff on all levels for being so flexible in this. We've got a beautiful facility, and it's a busy facility, and obviously that's a great thing to have. Girls basketball started last week. Well, I'll start with winter dance. That started back in October. Winter dance started October 22nd. They did tryouts. They have 23 girls participating, and as I shared, we have 4 different teams. So we have a varsity high kick, a JV high kick, varsity jazz, and a JV jazz. So that'll be the most level of teams that we've had competing. And they're going to be in 9 different competitions this year, starting December 1st with a trip to Hayfield. Girls basketball started last week. We've got 39 girls participating in that. And the coaches are listed there. Jake Dahl taking over as the head girls with Brooke Schilling, but now Brooke Leah. And Joel Hinkie assisting, and then Jade Pelzel and Matt Helgmo at the junior high level. They start on November 27th. Well, actually, we've got a high school scrimmage tomorrow with Wabasha, but then competition-wise, it'll be a week from tomorrow, going to Lewiston, Altura. The boys just started tonight, so I don't have the exact numbers in terms of participation, but Chris Drinkall as the head coach with Joe Hatch and Davin assisting at the high school level, and then Pete LaFleur and Lucas Rasmussen as as junior high coaches. They start out in kind of a unique doubleheader that we're playing with Moose Lake, as you are aware. That's our kind of sister school, or whatever you want to refer to them as, where we traveled up with our boys and girls, toured their school last year, and they're coming down this year. So that'll actually be a special breakfast that we're having with their team on that Saturday morning. We're giving them tours of the facility, and then hosting a girls game at noon and a boys game at 1:30. So it's kind of a showcase event, again, with great people, and obviously very fortunate to be able to show off our building to them as well. So that's December 1st. And then wrestling, as you're aware, that's a co-op that we have with Lewiston Altura. We're working a similar practice schedule to how we did it last year. Where early in the week, the practices are in Rushford, later in the week, so Monday, Tuesday, and alternating Wednesdays is in Rushford, Wednesdays, and then Thursday, Friday, it's in Lewiston. Tim Techouts and Darren Hageland are the head coaches, and I thank you for your support of approving the hire of Xavier Reiser as our assistant. He'll do a fabulous job. He's an alumni of the LARP program and a Winona State student, and a great addition, so I thank you for that. They start out December 1st as well, traveling, the varsity goes to Winona and the JV goes to Wabasha. So busy day, obviously, December 1st. And then the one activity that hasn't started technically yet is One Act Play, where they'll be doing tryouts next week, and then getting going with the One Act Play. So very busy winter season. As far as upcoming events, I talked on the December 1st, the Moose Lake. We also have the high school, middle school band concert, like you've probably heard already, December 10th. Elementary music concert, December 13th. High school, middle school choir concert, December 17th. We have a junior high boys basketball tournament we're hosting on December 15th. That's boys and girls junior high. And we'll host a holiday tournament, holiday game, I should say. It was going to be a tournament format. It kind of morphed into, we're hosting Randolph on December 28th. Spring Grove was going to be participating as well. They're, due to their football success, we're kind of modifying that, and they're going to take that as a little more of a break. So we've got one game that we're hosting there over the break, which is December 28th, again with Randolph. So I would entertain any questions you guys may have.
Anything for Mr. Beaver? Good.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Right. The information we have our regular monthly meeting here on the 17th that we moved up to 5 o'clock. Because that same night we have our truth and taxation meeting, which will begin promptly at 6:15. And January 7th, we will be having our organizational meeting right here at 5:30. Anything else? Anybody? Really?
No, I'm good.
Not, for motion to adjourn.
So moved.